What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Hot Mic here on a rainy Thursday on the West Coast. I'm John Rocha, joined as always by the Sneider himself, Jeff Sneider. How are you, Jeff?
Hello, Johnny boy. John, just a quick question. Do you know what movie this shirt's from?
I don't. I was just going to ask you, what is that bull doing on your shirt?
Well, I mean, I am a bull. But,
Hello.
You don't know what this is from?
I don't. No.
This is the shirt that John Robinson runs around in, an elephant. Gus
Elephant
movie, Elephant.
Is that the one about the kids who kill the school children?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. This is an iconic movie costume that I'm wearing.
I saw it once when it came out. Was it early 2000s? I think it's when it came out, right?
Ken Robinson, I believe, working with Gus Van Sant again on Dead Man's Wire, his new movie.
Nice. Well, we are here. I have a. Do you recognize this shirt? That's right. I bet you know where this one's from.
I do.
We got so much to get into today in the world of entertainment, the world of film, Jeff. There is so much happening. Projects being announced left and right. Studios possibly going under if superhero movies don't work. All kinds of stuff happening. New trailers, and we'll get some reviews as well. But I think you got something to start off the show. Is that correct? Or shall we move on?
I promised a little something. Yes. That maybe, wasn't really enough for like a newsletter item, but it's still pretty cool news nonetheless. I think it's going to make the internet happy right now.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Now, I've been hearing this. It's so you can take it with a grain of salt because who knows what could happen. But I hear that Mr. Tarantino, his movie is coming back together for an end of the year shoot or possibly top of next year. I don't even know. I don't know if it's the movie critic again.
Okay.
Back together. I guess I shouldn't have used those words because that implies that it is the movie critic. It could be something else. I don't know what he's been up to. But I hear that Quentin is, in fact, going to get back behind the camera in the next 12 months.
Now, what do you hear brought this on? Because it seemed like that the initial effort to put this together, there was a lot of speculation. He commented on it. Certainly people were very, very high up on seeing it. A lot of people speculating whether it was his last film or not and all of that. So, and then it went away. He said couldn't quite get it right. So what motivated him to put it back together again?
I'm not even going to speak to that. I'm just saying that LA, I'm told that LA crews, the crew people here, are buzzing.
His people.
Whoever normally works with Quentin, that there is rumblings that the king is coming down from Mount Sinai or whatever with the tablets. He is ready. And that they may get back to work. And that may be it. Look at these fires, right? They affected a ton of people who've been put out of work. You just had IATSE put out a statement saying, please don't boycott all these Kennedy Center events because it means that the local crew doesn't get to work those events. Is an interesting kind of perspective. Obviously, I understand why artists have been boycotting the Kennedy Center stuff, but I wonder if Quentin is being like, hey, my guys kind of thought that they had a paycheck
work
here or whatever, and then it didn't happen. I got to get it back to work again, and I have no idea if that's the case, but it sounds like he is getting ready again.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. And
so, I don't know if any of the cast is going to make. I don't know what it is. I'm not even going to pretend I do.
Wow. All right. Well, that's good. I mean, if that's the reason, great. But I mean, if you can't rush artistry, so I wonder if maybe there was other stuff going on and he stopped. But now with all this stuff happening, he's more motivated. Sometimes artists do need a little fire under the ass to get on top of things and start writing. And so maybe this was something that motivated him to really sit down and get it done, because
it is in fact his last one, as he claims it will be. End of next year, top of next year, I would say by Q1.
Wow, that's great. I'd love to see Quentin's work. So great to see him getting back on the horse, and hopefully he stays on it this time and not gets off again and goes, what, put it back in the stable. I'm still not ready. It's always a possibility. All right, well there you go. Anything more to say on that, Jeff?
Nope.
All right. Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, we've almost got 500 of you already joining us live right off the bat. Thank you so much. And right off the bat, you got a nice little scoop there from Jeff Sneider about Quentin Tarantino. So supporting the show is really important. Sending in your Streamlabs, sending in your super chats. Those are super important for us to keep going, doing the show here on the Outlaw Nation channel. So send in your love. If you want a question, thought, or comment read by us and answered by us, please send it in as we go along. So right above Jeff's head, it's pinned in the chat. It's in the description of the video as well. All right, Jeff, let's get into this thing. Let's start here, man. We got to start here. A lot of reports coming out this week here. A new report from Puck News there, Matthew Baloney over there, Puck News. Experts are claiming that Warner Brothers Discovery is extremely dependent on Superman's performance through DC Studios. The quote is that Superman has now, quote, taken on almost incalculable importance to Warner Brothers Discovery. If Warner's can't finally make the DC franchise work, there is genuine fear that the studio will go the way of Fox, which was swallowed by Disney in 2019. And there's a lot of moving pieces to this, Jeff, and certainly roped in now to this article is the reaction to The Bride, the PTA mixed reaction, Mickey 17 not doing well, and the reports that the Bong Joon-ho cut was the one put out there over the Warner Brothers cut. So what is the truth here? Do you think it really all depends on Superman?
I mean, first of all, we've been talking about Warner Brothers as a potential acquisition target for a while, right?
For a long time.
Yeah, there were always those rumors that Universal might end up buying it. Yeah. I don't know. Like, from what I've heard, there's a lot riding on like movies like Sinners, right? That's like a $90 million gamble. The PTA, I mean, Bong is a little bit more. I mean, these are all like decent bets on paper, right? You're like, okay, I want to give Paul Thomas Anderson and Leonardo DiCaprio money. I want to give Ryan Coogler money. Like, I want to give Bong Joon-ho money. These all make sense, but it's the amount of money and what you're giving them. To me, it should all depend. It shouldn't just be like, here's a blank check, Bong Joon-ho. Like, that was like such an indefensible green light to me, Mickey 17. What did you see the movie?
Yes, I did. Did
we talk about this last week?
No, we didn't, because I had seen it. You hadn't seen it, but then I saw your review. Me and you again on opposite sides on this movie.
You really liked it.
Not really liked it. I enjoyed it, and I had fun with it. I wasn't bored. I didn't think it was stupid, and I liked the message at the end that was much more hopeful than I was anticipating.
All right, fair enough. Well, I mean, listen, the movie has its fans, but it's not enough fans for $150 million, and that's sort of Mike and Pam. That's always been their reputation, is that they're going to spend. It's one thing to spend if the movies work, but if they don't, or if they're so artistic that they don't connect with like the broader commercial audience that's out there, that's a problem. Now I was shocked that I saw like the Peter Safran rumors, right?
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Like that they would break up him and Gunn. Like they haven't even put out a movie yet. Like not even me. I'm not even calling for anybody's head yet. Like, give it a fucking movie. But I wonder if Safran has been lobbying for this, if he senses that, a certain vulnerability over there. And he's like, well, hey, I'm down to do it because I'm not doing much over at DC. If that's the case, I don't know. Someone had said that their number 3, their Lieutenant Chantal Nong, is not quite ready to step up into like a co-CEO role. Mm-hmm. So maybe they would bring somebody else in alongside Gunn. I can't imagine. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, having Peter Safran run Warner Brothers. And I don't think that you can do both. I had one reporter asking me today, like, why can't you just have somebody overseeing both like they used to? I think you need somebody separate, focusing on the universe. You can't build a universe and a feature slate at Warner Brothers at the same time.
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah, and what Jeff is referring to is other reports that came out in addition to this report, talking about Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi are possibly in hot water here. Kim Masters writing a really good article there for Puck and talking about it, getting into it, and describing the possibility. And when Kim Masters speaks, you better listen. This is not someone who writes willy-nilly about stuff. If she's talking about something going on behind the scenes, it matters. So the fact that there's rumors or rumblings that they might be moving DeLuca and Abdi out to move in Peter Safran. And I wonder, Jeff, does this leave Gunn? If this happens, does this leave Gunn solo in charge of DCU? Is that what you want to do with a guy who likes to talk about himself and put himself in everything? I don't know that I want him in charge of DC solo without some kind of barrier.
This movie goes. I mean,
yeah.
So there were a couple things about Superman that I'd heard. I'd heard that it's very, as you might imagine, jokey.
Yes, no surprise.
I'm hearing it's very Gunn Guardians like in tone, which people feel is not the tone of Superman, which may be getting at what I've said the last few, couple of weeks. That it's simply a difference of opinion in what the tone should be. Obviously, Gunn has spoken about how like light this is going to be. Right, this is a ray of hope. This isn't Matt Reeves' Batman. So I also heard that there's like some real big cameos that have not been revealed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Big name things. Now I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
But I'm told that there's at least two. One of them could just end up being, Supergirl. I don't know, but there's no Jor-El yet.
Yeah. They haven't announced one yet.
You really think that this movie's going to come out and there's not going to be a Jor-El?
No, there has to be a Jor-El, of course.
I think there has to be as well.
Especially because they set so much of it in the snow in those trailers. It's Fortress of Solitude that it has to be Jor-El.
And I think it has to be a huge name. Now, I've always thought it was going to be Chris Pratt, right? Just because of the Guardians thing. But then, in talking about it with somebody, they were like, oh, I don't know if he'd do that to Gunn because Gunn's not done with Star-Lord to
Feige, right.
To Feige. Taking one of his guys. And so it's like, did they go, like, how big did they go? I mean, obviously back in the day it was Brando. You couldn't get much bigger.
Right. Then it was Russell in Man of Steel. So
did they get Tom Cruise? Did they get Leo? Or I don't know. I mean, that's like the level I'm now expecting.
Wow. Well, there were rumors there was. Go ahead, say it. Yeah.
No. I'm just expecting huge. Go on.
Yeah, there were rumors that it was going to be Daniel Craig. There are rumors that are, they've been kicking around about the possibility of Jor-El. Who would it be? I mean, who's on the caliber of Brando and Russell Crowe that's out there that could really like deliver that kind of meaty, hefty gravitas to play Jor-El? I don't know if I see DiCaprio.
No, I don't. I mean, I just threw him out because he's as big as Cruise. But like, I can see Cruise. I can see. I don't know. There's a couple of people. Could you see?
What about Pacino or De Niro? Is that too far?
Could you see Tom Hanks?
No, you're not. You're thinking Jeff. Jeff.
But when you think of just like goodness, right? When you think of inherent goodness and maybe truth, justice, in the American way, that's kind of Tom Hanks to me.
I guess, but like not as Jor-El.
It's like having. I mean, who would have played Jor-El in the 50s? Would it have been Jimmy Stewart?
No, it would have been Glenn Ford, who ironically played his dad in the Superman, 1978 Superman. I think Paquette rather. I think they could have been a bigger dude. Hey, you could have still had Brando do it in 1950s. He was just on top by then.
I don't fucking know. I'm just expecting something big. That's all.
Would Ben Affleck be something? Would that be a crazy situation?
No, it's not going to be Ben Affleck.
Bradley Cooper's interesting.
Cooper is the other one.
Maybe. Wow, Alan Ritchson. Oh, there you go. He's not going to be Batman.
Cooper's a possibility.
Yeah.
Not Ritchson.
I don't think Ritchson. Especially if you're going to have the humor stuff, you got to. Yeah, interesting.
Ritchson gives off like that Chris Hemsworth in Star Trek kind of vibe.
Yes, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a guy that looks like he was chopping wood up in the woods somewhere. That's the energy you have to have for Jor-El, I believe.
I don't know. I think you just need a leader. I mean, fuck, dude.
I love this idea. Come on.
What, Kurt Russell?
Come on, Kurt Russell would be a great.
He already did that though, so he already shot that wad. I feel like on Guardians too.
All right, playing Ego, the Living Planet. Yeah, that's a good point because he was Star Wars dad.
I thought about that as well. Anyways, we don't need to spend all fucking day.
All right,
but like, if you're telling me like Jor-El isn't in this movie, I'd be surprised. And the casting hasn't been announced yet, and I think there's no reason for that. I think it's pretty big.
Well, what about this other stuff, man? We're talking is Warner Brothers. Do you think if Superman doesn't do well, do you think that now the Warner Brothers becomes ripe for a sale? I mean, because I think it seems like the report is indicating that Zaslav had always planned to offload Warner Brothers after he had stabilized the ship a little bit, but they keep losing money, Jeff. And so, and if The Bride, which they paid $100 million, they gave Maggie Gyllenhaal $100 million for a musical about the Bride of Frankenstein, or Sinners, and I mean, like if there's this like 4 flops in a row, and I don't think Superman will flop, but maybe underperform, then at that point, you got to cut your losses, don't you? I mean, like it becomes a situation where you just sell it off as soon as you can, and do we start all over again? That's the real fear of all of this.
That is obviously the fear, is that if Superman doesn't work, well, then why are we investing in the rest of this universe if the public didn't respond to the building block? Because the next 3 movies aren't going to do better than Superman.
Well, that's the thing. This now comes back to James Gunn, doesn't it, Jeff? I mean, he set it up so only one big superhero movie is coming out. He busted his Lantern down to being on TV. The Supergirl movie isn't going to hit the heights that Superman will in terms of knowledge. The Authority's not going to happen. And then you got these other 2 movies who are possibly in play. So
things are definitely a little messy over there. Again, kudos to Kim, did a great job, I thought, with the article. I didn't have names. It only made sense that it would be Pam and Mike, but I don't know. Like, to me, it's not just like the people at the top, right? To me, it's sometimes it's the whole tree. It's just like we need some fresh execs in there. And so before Kim wrote that story on Monday night, I wrote my Saturday piece.
A good piece.
It was like I described to somebody. I'm the smoke watcher. I'm in the tower and I see the smoke, and I'm like, holy shit, there's smoke. But Kim Masters puts on a suit and goes into the fire. Is one of the best, no doubt. And one of the few people in this business who I really look up to and admire. But I did wave the flag. I did alert people to this, and I predicted that it would be almost impossible for Bellamy to ignore these rumors in his Monday night column, which he then handed over to Kim. And I mean, shit, what a crazy tag team, a 1-2 tag team they make. Yeah.
That might move me closer to actually joining that thing, but we'll see. It's pretty expensive, man. $150 a year. That's pretty expensive. The Bride, we said about The Bride, Sinners is over $100 million. So it's like, it's a lot.
Right? Like that, I thought that was an interesting quote that Kim got, where it's like, if you're Mike, your job is to build that library, right? And increase its value, because that's ultimately what everyone's going to be selling at the end of the day, right? That's what you're selling at the end of the day. And without those rights, then you haven't really created much value for the studio, because Coogler made a deal where he gets them back. The only other person I know who got that deal is Tarantino.
Good point. Just looking through everything, making sure we hit I brought up everything for us to discuss, but it seems pretty much in that whole situation here. If these films start to underperform or flop, then I can't imagine DeLuca and Abdi surviving by the end of the year. But I just don't understand throwing your entire studio into upheaval by moving Safran away from Gunn and making him in charge of the whole thing overall.
I don't think it'll happen. That's why I think that there was that line that he's looking for outside people as well. And I think that's and it may be linked to the Sony stuff too, right? Like, for all I know, one of those Sony guys who I said was out could be already, talking to Warner Brothers about coming over there. I have I don't think that Warner Brothers is typically going to hire from Sony. It's usually, the other way around. But anyways, there's a lot of upheaval right now, as there maybe always is heading into CinemaCon, when they have to go in front of theater owners and sort of showcase the slate and take the credit. It's usually taking credit for what worked. No one's taking the blame for what didn't work. Everybody's passing the buck there. But Warner Brothers, obviously we saw the trailer for F1 today. What did you think of that trailer, John?
Oh my God, that trailer was awesome. I did a reaction for it, which is up on the channel now. I thought that trailer was fucking glorious. Honestly, Brad Pitt, Damson Idris looked like they had fantastic chemistry. The cinematography was gorgeous, just utterly gorgeous. And look, it is old lion trying to teach the young lion cliches that we've seen before, but you got to construct a film that makes that storyline work, and it looks like they have. Love that we got more with Kerry Condon and certainly more with Javier. So to me, overall, this was a damn good trailer, bro.
So obviously, it's an Apple movie.
Yes.
Right?
Even though Warner Brothers is distributing
Warner Brothers is putting it out. They're handling the marketing and distribution, but Apple produced it. And they'll get the lion's share of the receipts because they paid for it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it looks like it's going to be a win for Warner Brothers, but you can't take full credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's good, but let me ask you this: so, do you think it's $1 billion movie?
No, I don't think it's, because I think F1 is a very, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of a niche thing.
It's even Top Gun Maverick,
right? And look, Days of Thunder didn't make as much as Top Gun, and I don't think F1's going to make as much as Top Gun Maverick. I just don't, because it's not Tom Cruise, first of all.
I don't think it will either.
Yeah, are they thinking it will? Are they? Has there been talk about it?
No. I just obviously there's with Kaczynski. I think that there's the comparisons. Is this going to be the Top Gun of race car movies, the Top Gun Maverick? But
it'll do better than Days of Thunder. It looks like a better, because listen, you can't ignore the Tony Scott Kaczynski connection. I mean, Tony Scott going from Top Gun to Days of Thunder, Kaczynski going from Maverick to F1. It's a very easy, even the F1, the way it's constructed is so similar to Days of Thunder in the way, essentially Damson Idris is the what's his face, Carrie Elway's character, and then Robert Duvall and Nicole Kidman are essentially the Kerry Condon character combined. Randy Quaid is the Javier Bardem character. So you've got the connective tissues of all of it. It's just in a new format with F1. NASCAR was huge back then when Days of Thunder came out. F1 is the big thing now in terms of racing. So I think it'll do well internationally for sure. I don't think $1 billion is in play, in my personal opinion, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to discuss about WB or DC?
No.
I will have a little DC casting thing tonight, guys.
Yeah. What do you got?
Oh, I'm not going to drop it here.
You son of a bitch.
It's nothing major. It's a minor little thing, but
He loves the tease. He loves to tickle the tip. He loves it. All right, let's move on to something you did drop.
What were the things that I was teasing last week that I couldn't discuss?
I don't remember.
It was the Mikey Madison. One was the Mikey Madison thing.
Yes. Right.
Which, if you read last week's newsletter, I had said that I'd only heard in all these months of her campaign, that I'd only heard her for one project. It was tied into the discussion of whether if you win an Oscar, you have to go star in a movie, or if you just go and do good work and take whatever is available. Yeah. And I'd heard Mikey for the Boys in Brazil remake.
Yeah.
Which to me, and again, I don't know if that'll work out, but I did hear her in tandem with Gillian Anderson. Gillian Anderson starred in The Crown, and this series is from Peter Morgan, who did The Crown.
Yeah.
Plus, it's Jeremy Strong's follow-up to Succession. So it's just like follow-up to The Crown, follow-up to Succession, big prestige Netflix show. I wonder, and it's about hunting Nazis, and Mikey Madison's, a Jew. I wonder if he'll take like a supporting role in that.
Yeah, because I mean, there's only one woman.
It's two.
There's a second woman, because there's a woman who plays the assistant for Olivia.
There's the sister to the main character, and then there's Uda Hagen's character.
Oh, Uda, right. Uda, that's right. Well, she won't be playing that.
That's Gillian Anderson, I would assume.
Right.
I don't know. Those are just the names that I'd heard, and obviously now that Mikey has an Oscar, the whole ball game could be changed. I'm just saying that's the only project I heard her tied to in the last.
No, I love the idea of Mikey and Jeremy working together. Why wouldn't you? I mean, yes, you're coming out on Oscars, but like you've also got to establish yourself. You're still 25 years old, right? So working with someone like Jeremy Strong is only going to make you better as an actor. Working with someone like Morgan's only going to make you better overall as an actor. So for me, that seems like a no-brainer, and it's going to be a high prestige series. So, hide out there for a little bit, and then eventually you'll get another movie, because you're not going to be all over the series. It's going to be more focused on Jeremy and whoever the other male lead will be playing Mengele. So,
do you want to do TV? Do you want to do a streaming thing? Right? Do you want to, take a paycheck, or sort of build a career and because obviously Netflix is huge exposure for anybody who's on a hit Netflix show.
Yeah.
In terms of eyeballs that Anora really could never compete with.
Right.
Anyways, so wait, that was one of them. But then what was the other fucking? It was just about Bond. It was about the David Heyman, I think, right? Taking over
the David Heyman thing. Alfonso Cuarón is who you were saying might come on.
Exactly. I'd heard that it was that Heyman is going to get the Bond stuff, the Bond universe, and then from there, I just extrapolated. Well, I think that his first stop would be Cuarón. I think that just makes makes total sense. I know Cuarón has already said, "Oh, I don't know if I'd want to do a Bond movie," but obviously these circumstances are completely different. Right. Particularly if Heyman is the producer and not Barb Broccoli. We'll see. I think that would be really interesting. I don't think anybody even thought of Cuarón as a potential director, at least this time. But if you can't get Nolan and they aren't willing to wait, which it seems like they aren't.
Yeah.
Is what it seems like to me. I don't think that they paid billions of dollars, right, to give him full control. That's what I think will happen, is that they will hire a producer, and it probably will be Heyman.
Oh, that makes all the sense in the world. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I don't think they make this deal unless they've got people lined up or people they think they're going to take over quickly. Heyman makes sense. Cuarón makes. When you said that, I didn't even think about Cuarón. When I read your piece, I was like, oh man, that's such a great idea. I mean, he's the best part of the Harry Potter franchise. So the fact that you take him and move him to Bond, and it would be a nice, interesting flavor with Cuarón directing it. Now, I went a step further, though, I think on the show a couple of days ago, and I said, well, what about Robert Pattinson? Would this be the next step? Would Robert Pattinson now slide in to be Bond?
You can't be Batman and Bond. That doesn't work.
What? Who says he's still going to be Batman? I don't know, Jeff. I
think he's donned the cape for the last time.
Let me ask you something. If this move happens with DeLuca and Abdi, they move Safran there, and Gunn's fully in charge of DC, doesn't Gunn go, you know what? I know what you guys are thinking, but I want to do it my way. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Great stuff. But we're going to make my Batman. It's going to exist here. We're not going to do Elseworld stuff.
Behind the scenes, I'm telling you, there's a power struggle. It's
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Reeves just wants to report to Pam and Mike. All right. And so he's probably fighting for dear life to keep them around, because if they go and like Gunn could just wait them out. Right.
That's what I think.
Right. If Pam and Mike are gone, then Reeves doesn't really have that protection.
Right.
And
apparently the report says, the report says that they think the report says that Matt Reeves is waiting to see how Superman does before submitting the final script for Batman Part 2.
I'm telling you, he's already submitted it to Mike and Pam.
Right. You said, yes. You said that. Yeah.
Like he doesn't owe it to James to show to him.
Right.
Wait, did the report really say that he's waiting?
I thought I read it there that it was like, well, they might be waiting for Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves might be waiting.
Everybody's waiting on Superman to come out, Matt Reeves included. But I'm sure if Superman tanks, then Matt Reeves can be like, I take orders from this guy. Then this is the whole problem with hiring a filmmaker as an executive. I don't understand this multi-hyphenate world where, like, if you're famous, you can write a book and you can host a show and you can have a podcast and it's just like, why can't people just do one thing and I don't understand it.
Because one thing doesn't pay anymore, bro. I have multiple shows just to be able to pay my rent. I have multiple revenue streams.
These people get paid zillions. I don't know why.
That's a fair point.
It's like Amy Poehler. We need a podcast on the Ringer Network. Really? All right.
Do I need Jamie Foxx hosting game shows? I don't think so. It makes no sense. But he's doing
like
it.
Jenna Fisher and Angela need to talk about The Office to do the podcast, or Christopher from The Sopranos needs this Sopranos podcast. But
to be fair, the only thing he's done recently is this fool, rather, which was a great series on Hulu.
A huge producer.
Yeah, sure, good point.
Anyway, not to pick on poor Amy.
Let's move on to this other story that you dropped last week or a couple weeks ago. Let's add on to the story here, Jeff. Sadie Sink, apparently, according to Boris Kidd at Deadline, is set to star in Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. Sources tell them that Sadie Sink is set to join the sequel from Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios. Destin Daniel Cretton supposedly still directing. But a lot of people are speculating who she might be playing. Jeff, you had said Jean Grey a few weeks ago. Now people are saying a Mary Jane variation, Firestar, Gwen Stacy, Jean Grey still very much in the mix. And then something called Mary Jane, Ultimate Mary Jane or something, which I have no idea what that is. But like, What are you hearing? What do you know about this? Did this surprise you when the news came across?
It did, for sure.
Okay. Well, that's a rarity.
Absolutely.
Especially when it's your scoop initially. It's kind of rarity. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, with the X-Men stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's no director on X-Men yet. Obviously, it's early days on X-Men. I think that the names that I've presented are all names that Marvel really likes. Okay? I think that these are names being whispered about on the Zooms and in the hallways of Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
Now, as it turns out, here's where I level.
Okay.
All right. I got a little bit of information after I published that story last night, which is always what happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
You publish, people read, they say, "Oh, this guy, he's way off here. Let me tell this guy what's going on."
Yeah.
So someone reached out last night.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like she is going to be Mary Jane.
Wow. Like from another universe.
Sure. I mean, I haven't listened. This shit is so stupid to me. Okay. And Kevin Feige to me I don't know. It's why I never read comic books. It's why I'm not really into these movies. Kevin Feige has totally twisted himself into a fucking pretzel, which is my favorite movie snack, by the way.
Ew.
But so I don't know about Ultimate, Spectacular, Amazing. I don't know variations, timelines, dimensions.
Multiverse Mary Jane.
Who fucking knows? Okay. It sounds to me like she's going to be Mary Jane. Okay.
Wow.
Zendaya plays MJ, right?
Right.
But she doesn't play Mary Jane.
No.
She plays Michelle Jones.
Right.
Michelle Jones Watson or whatever. So I think that if you look at what's happening, obviously, and the placement of this Spider-Man movie, which is going to be after Doomsday. So it's after a world. We're already in a world where Robert Downey Jr. can be Dr. Doom, right?
In a world. Yeah.
We're in some timeline or dimension. I don't know how they're going to explain it. And that is ultimately why I think that there's going to be a different MJ. It's going to be where, hey, I'm MJ. Oh, Zendaya? Nope. Oh, shit. Sadie Sink. Wait, what the fuck? Where am I? What's going on? That kind of thing. So I did get some information that would suggest that she is, in fact, playing MJ. Now, here's why the other things don't make sense.
Okay.
Someone, because I mentioned Firestar, and someone was just like, she's like a D-list character. Like,
so it's an obscure character, right?
They don't pair Spider-Man up with like D-list characters.
Yeah.
Now the Jean Grey thing. Listen, I said that I'd heard that she was going to be Jean Grey. What threw me off was obviously when I heard that she was going to be in this movie, because I'm like, wait a second, if she is playing Jean Grey, are they actually introducing X-Men in this movie, or the idea of mutants? And it says she's gonna have a significant role. This isn't like her popping up at the end as a mutant in some tease. The thing is that I asked around, and someone said, well, listen, if that's the case and she is playing Jean Grey, then Lauren Schuler Donner would probably have to have a producing credit on the movie.
Yes.
Okay, because she gets a producing credit on all that X-Men stuff, right?
Right.
And they're like, and I don't think Sony would do that. I don't think Sony would cut her into this pie. I don't think that. And the more, and again, the more I thought about it, I'm like, why would Kevin introduce the X-Men in a Sony movie? It makes no sense to me.
Right.
So I still don't know what that big character is that they're going to end up giving Sony, which I think is just a contractual obligation. I don't know who, what the villain is in this movie. I've heard so many different things. It's all over the place. But if I had to wager a guess based on what I heard last night after publishing, I'm going to say that she is likely MJ and not Jean Grey.
Wow. Well, and I saw a lot of people like, there's no way they're going to move the black Zendaya out of the way for a white Mary Jane. And it's like, well, it's not that situation. Like, you got to think about it in reality, right? Like, people are like looking at this thing from a vacuum. The thing is, Zendaya is a huge star. There is no need for her to be playing Peter's love interest. Like, you know what I'm saying? Zendaya is a massive star. She could be leading her entire own Marvel trilogy if she wanted to, right? This is the situation. So they've erased her memory, erased Ned's memory of Peter. They don't know who Peter is at all. Do you want to see a 2-hour movie of Peter trying to get MJ back? I just watched that with Peter Quill and Gamora. Why would we repeat that again in the Marvel universe? No, he's got to move on. He's got to learn to move on. He made the decision. He's going to miss his friends, but you got to move on. And remember, Ned was borrowed from another storyline. He was not the Peter Parker main storyline guy. So they kind of mixed these storylines anyway. So the idea of bringing in Sadie Sink, who's an up-and-coming actress, who'd be quite happy to take a role like this and play off of Tom, and you bring back that shade of the original Peter Parker with Mary Jane, that makes sense to me. I actually don't think I have a problem with that, and I would like to see what would happen with that. We had 3 movies with Zendaya. We got our Zendaya trilogy. Now let's move on and see what's here. Is she someone who's going to college, or is this connected to the Secret Wars thing and she's from another universe? I don't know, but I don't think I'd be upset that there's another MJ. And I saw someone going, how could he meet 2 women named MJ? Have you been out there dating? You can date multiple women who have the same name. It just kind of works out like that, So it just seems odd to me. People have issues with it,
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm just telling you guys the latest info that I get in real time, and I'm not ashamed to admit, oh, this source conflicts with what this source is saying, and this I trust this source more than this source, that kind of thing. This is where I would stand now if I was a betting man. I would bet on MJ. And it's not that Sadie Sink as Jean Grey didn't make sense. I think she makes a ton of fucking sense. I think that's why Marvel wants to be in business with her.
Right.
But I just think. I mean, listen. What if every name that I heard for X-Men turns out to be in Spider-Man 4? Yeah. Evans ends up being the villain in Spider-Man 4. I'm just like, these are the people who Marvel are want to be in business with. I think.
Yeah. And look, people. That's the thing I want to make clear. Like someone's already saying, this Rocha is not the real Rocha. Must be no. It's the situation. Everything is situational, right? You have to look at all the X factors. They are not moving out a black woman to put a white woman in her place. The storyline went already in a certain spot. So you've got and Zendaya wants to do other things, and you've got to free her up to do other things. And I saw that, the original story, I don't know what it was that they read in the original story that had them bopping off the walls, but who knows what the rewrite brings us now with this Mary Jane character,
John, it says like it's going to focus more on new characters, which is always what I'd heard, and less on his old friends.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like there was a specific line in there that said that, and I think that was referencing a reduced role for Zendaya.
Yeah, Zendaya and Ned. I'm sure Jacob Badalone's not going to be in the movie that much either. You know why? Because Peter doesn't need him anymore. Peter is now, he's been out to fucking space. He's been blipped. Like Peter has lived through some shit. He's got to grow up. He's going to college. Sometimes you leave your high school friends behind when you go to college. That's life. And you'll leave your college friend behind when you go to another city once you graduate. So this is life. And so I like that they're doing that and giving us more opportunity to see what new characters he'll have in his life and what new adventures. People want to stay in the past all the time. So you got to move on. I like the idea. All right. Anything more to say on this?
No.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to this story, Jeff. Let's hear about this, Jeff. Snow White. There's a report via MovieWeb that the UK premiere in London has been scrapped in fear of anti-woke backlash. And then Variety is reporting that Disney has canceled the red carpet for the Snow White Hollywood premiere on March 15th, which is 2 days from now, which will also not include dozens of media outlets usually invited by Disney to interview the cast. It will be limited coverage. Variety sources claim that the scaling back has less to do with, quote, the anti-woke brigade and more about the controversies surrounding Zegler and Gal Gadot. This seems to be the move to protect talent from being blindsided. Of course, Zegler on the red carpet, condescendingly laughing about the original Snow White, calling the prince a stalker, and saying negative things about the movie, which is such a boneheaded thing to do. Feel however you feel about it, but saying like that is shitting on people's memories of a classic that they love. And then you have Gal Gadot's her issues with the Israel-Palestine situation or her stuff there. So there's a lot of controversies here, Jeff. Doesn't this also mean that we're going to get a crap? Like, what's your thoughts on all this, man?
Hold on 1 second.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Gal Gadot posted Free Palestine on her social media, or Zegler did that. Free Palestine on her social media, and we know that Gadot served. So your thoughts on all this?
I'm just like, first of all, these are two of the most annoying movie stars in Hollywood. I'm sorry. I can't really stand either of them. I'm not, to put both of them together is a wild move.
There's a history of you not liking Zegler on this.
I have no interest in seeing this movie. I mean, Disney was kind enough to send an invite, which I appreciate, but
well, that's very nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a 41. I honestly forget how old I am now. I'm a 41-year-old man now. Yeah, I have no interest in seeing Snow White unless it's with my nieces.
Oh, okay. All right. But they are doing promotion for this. Like she was out performing.
The other thing that this speaks to, John, is that if you're worried about being blindsided by press, maybe don't invite the press that blindsides people. I don't understand. Manage the carpet. Learn how to do. That's your whole job.
Wait, but Jeff, she wasn't blindsided. That extra reporter asked her a very simple question. She said, "Hey, so you're this new version of Snow White. You've said how much you're excited for it and how it differs from the original." And then she took the ball and ran with it.
I didn't say that person blindsided. Yeah. You just used the word blindside.
Yeah, it was in the report. Yeah.
I think that the UK press is vicious.
True. Very true.
I think it's all that they're interested in is manufacturing that kind of bullshit content.
True.
Like I don't care about that stuff. Not that I want to be invited to the carpet of Snow White, believe me. But yeah, I think that the press is a fucking mess these days. That's what I think. So I'm not surprised that they're like, wait, why are we setting ourselves up for failure by inviting all these people?
But isn't this also setting up though? Like there's already yet another thing. And then a World of Real reported that there are apparently 7 writers on this Snow White film and that Greta Gerwig is uncredited, even though she had been one of the original writers on the film. Only Aaron Cressida Wilson is getting sole screenplay credit, but Jez Butterworth, Stephen Levinson, Jeff Nathanson, Victoria Strout, Chris Weitz, and of course, Greta Gerwig wrote.
Yeah, these are script doctors. Jeff Nathanson, Chris Weitz. These are all script doctors.
Yeah, Weitz from American Pie fame. But yeah, this is, I don't understand. I'm shielding them. This is just all going to blow up in their face.
The writer for each dwarf. Yeah, this movie. I mean, the movie's actually tracking better than I thought it would.
Okay.
North of 50, but believe me, we'll forget about this as quickly as we did the other Snow White movies.
Oh, 100%. 100%. All right. Well, we got 840 of you all joining us now live. Thank you so much. We appreciate it madly. Only 10, 12 super chats, though. Send in your love. Send in your support for the show here, ladies and gentlemen. Super chat Streamlabs are so important for the show here on Thursdays when we do it on the Outlaw Nation. So send in your questions, thoughts, and comments. We will get to them at the end of the show, but send them in. And Jeff, right now, let's take a moment. Where can people subscribe to your newsletter and read all your takes on things that are going on in the world of entertainment?
TheInsnider.com. Make sure you put a www in there. I'm going to figure that out soon, but www.theinsnider.com.
There you go. Go and subscribe. And of course, subscribe to my channel down below and hit that bell button. We just crossed 37,000. Want to get to 40, want to get to 50, the little engine that could. Come on, help us do that here on the Outlaw Nation. All right, Jeff,
Dude, wait. I gotta tease it. Tonight's newsletter has a great scoop.
It does. He refused to scoop it here on the show.
I didn't tell you what it was, did I?
No, you didn't. You didn't even tell me that. So yeah.
Good.
I'll have to wait along with everybody else. Oh, I hate when Jeff puts me in the audience. I belong in the front row.
I'll tell you after the show. You'll get a little sneak peek.
What about this, Jeff? Daniel Craig. Speaking of Greta Gerwig, Daniel Craig has been reportedly cast in Greta Gerwig's Narnia, The Magician's Nephew, which is supposedly going to be the working title, or supposedly the title for the first of the 2 films that she's supposed to be doing. That is a prequel to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So we're going all the way back in time for this one. But Craig's involvement with Narnia could also be the reason why he recently dropped out of Sergeant Rock. That's a hell of a switch from Sergeant Rock to Narnia. And he might be playing Uncle Andrew Ketterly. That's the uncle there. So interesting stuff here. Charlie XCX, rumors of Mikey Madison. Now we're hearing Daniel Craig. Does this feel like a right move? What are your thoughts on this?
First of all, I don't know about those Mikey Madison rumors. I don't think that's the case. Daniel Craig. I mean, didn't he learn a lesson from Golden Compass? That's what I was thinking. Like, he already did this. He was the uncle in that movie too.
That's a great point.
It's the same fucking thing. It's the same movie.
Oh, I forgot about that movie. Wolf Daddy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Daniel Craig guy, anyways. So,
as an actor, really?
Yeah.
What?
I didn't see Queer.
Oh, he was good.
And if I was a big Daniel Craig guy, I feel like I would have made the time to see Queer. I'm not a Knives Out guy.
Oh my God, he's so good in that.
I don't love Bond.
Wow. Okay. What about the one where what about the film where he was Jewish and saving the people in the Jewish World War II? Defiant. Yeah.
No, I didn't buy him as a Jew in that movie at all. He's also in Munich, though, right?
Yeah, he's good in Munich. I thought he was good.
He's great in Munich. He's great in Layer Cake. He's got his moments. Road to Perdition is actually my Daniel Craig movie.
That's right. Just him getting beaten up by Paul Newman.
But yeah, these days, Daniel Craig, I don't know. I like that commercial where he's dancing around. He's being his true Daniel Craig.
I think him and Hugh Jackman have more in common than not. I feel like they're like
he doesn't play it. He doesn't show that on screen. No. I mean, again, I haven't seen Queer, but
he does a little bit in the Knives Out movie, especially the second one. He's a little more flamboyant, shall we say? All right. Anything else on this Narnia? Let's move on. There's a rumor here, Jeff. This one popped up just as we were starting the show. I don't have a picture for it, but Trey Edward Schultz might be the director for this Altered States remake that is supposedly starring Robert Pattinson. Does that pass your smell test? He did Krisha, It Came at Night, and Waves.
That's my smell test. I've emailed Warner Bros. About this 3 years ago.
You did?
This is super old.
Okay.
This is stuff that somebody's pulling off of a production grid. I have no idea if it's actually like real or finally happening now. I mean, yeah, I've been hearing about this movie for 3 years. I always figured that he would try to fit in another movie before Batman. Right. And I don't know if it's going to end up being Altered States. This thing has been in development for ages, but I had always heard that package.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to check on it. All right.
Didn't we mention this? We mentioned this on the show recently when we were talking about Pattinson.
Not the director. We didn't
We didn't just mention Pattinson. Right. Yeah. Because I was like, why did I think that would ever happen? But yeah.
Right. But it seems like it might be happening now if the, as you said, the production thing is to be taken for truth. All right. Well, how about this? Barry Jenkins and Glen Powell. The Deadline reporting that Universal has landed this package for The Natural Order, with Jenkins on board to direct, Glen Powell attached to star. This is based on Matt Aldrich's unpublished manuscript, which is billed as a, quote, elevated sci-fi thriller revolving around the pursuit of eternal life. Isn't that what that Wahlberg trashy Paramount movie was all about? But anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Does this make sense for the next Glen Powell movie and Barry Jenkins coming out of Mufasa?
Again, I don't really know what it's about, right?
Yeah, no, she just says the elevated sci-fi thriller revolved around the pursuit of eternal life. I'm just saying, does this make sense for Glen Powell to make this as a next movie for him and where he's at in his career?
I mean, I don't think it's going to be his next movie. I think it's going to be,
it's going to be a while.
Got to get in line. Yeah, it's got to take a number. But yeah, maybe at some point next year.
It'll be done. What about Barry Jenkins? Do you like that he's going back to do something like this, a little sci-fi, no Lion King stuff?
I don't really know who Barry Jenkins is as a filmmaker. I got to tell you, I don't know I don't really know what is a Barry Jenkins film. So I don't. Is this going to be his Widows?
Oh yeah, good point.
I don't know.
You're saying he's kind of all over the place as a director.
Yeah. I'm just not. Okay. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. So I think it's smart of him to hitch his wagon to Glen, who's stars only rising. I think for Glen, it makes sense. And for Universal, it's great to have both those guys in the fold there. But, I'm not someone who's like, oh, Barry Jenkins, hooray.
Yeah. All right. There we go. Jeff's reactions to it. All right, let's move on to this. What about John Wick 5? Jeff, this is happening apparently. Jennifer Brown, head of global products and experiences at Lionsgate. After the John Wick experience was unveiled in Las Vegas. I don't know what that experience is. What, you get shot at? What is the experience? I don't know.
Hell yeah, dude. I want the experience. I want to fucking do some stunts and shit.
What is I don't even know what the experience is.
You know, I'm sure you just like run around and like with like a fake gun and like guys pop out and you're like,
oh my God.
And then they have a Dober, you know, they have dogs and you're just like, sick them.
I'm taking them back. But she admitted that they are developing a 5th John Wick film. She said, John Wick may be dead. We are all waiting on bated breath to find out. But Keanu said recently in an interview that the character is dead. He died. So are we going to heaven? Are we going to purgatory? Are we going to hell? What is this situation with John Wick 5? And do you think this is being done because Lionsgate has kind of been taking it on the chin a little bit, and they're turning to this franchise to maybe pull them out of the
in hell, dude. I love it. I love the idea of John Wick just slaying demons.
No. For that, I'll get Constantine 2.
Isn't that what everybody wants in Constantine?
Yeah, fine. Constantine 2 is great. But don't give me John Wick in hell. Are you surprised by any of this?
Dude, I'm so over this franchise. I could give 2 shits about that.
I want to see how they make it work.
How many John Wicks?
All right. Well, then let's move on to your Elizabeth Holmes story. Take it away, Jeff. What is this all about? You wrote about it in the
weird story.
Yeah, talk about it.
I mean, it's coming from a proven source. So I'll be, anyways.
You'll be what? Oh, would you leave off?
Never mind.
Nathan Fielder. This course? What is it?
Nathan Fielder has been visiting Elizabeth Holmes in prison for a top secret documentary. Apparently, he's been working on this for more than a year.
Hold on. Explain who Nathan Fielder is. Explain who Elizabeth Holmes is.
Nathan Fielder is the star of Nathan for You and The Rehearsal and The Curse, who's like this little, weird Canadian comedian.
Yeah.
With a very dry sense of humor. And people might even think that he's on the spectrum, and people think that she's kind of on the spectrum. I kind of wondered when I first heard their names paired together. She's the founder of Theranos, who's in federal prison, for fraud, basically, and whatnot. Right. I was like, oh, I could strangely see them as a couple. I was like, is he visiting her like romantically? But no, it is for some sort of like project. It sounds like. Yeah. Now I couldn't. His reps didn't respond. I was very polite and, called them multiple times this week, but nobody got back to me. So
this is such an odd story because I was obsessed with Elizabeth Holmes when The Dropout came out. Like, I'd never heard anything about her. Then I saw the first episode and I was like, who the hell is this woman? And then I watched the HBO documentary, which is incredible. And then I just devoured interviews and stuff about her because she is literally the definition of white privilege in that she just pushed a bunch of bullshit on people, lied, and people just gave her money. And she ensnared like former secretaries of state, people of real renown. Huh?
It's a good idea.
It's a good idea. So is me being able to fly without a plane. It's a great idea, but like you actually have to kind of put it in motion. And she lied repeatedly about what she did, tried to stay out of prison. She tried to impregnate herself to stay out of prison. Like there was all kinds of stuff that she did. So I don't like this because then Fielder's in a way kind of in on the joke, and then they're going to do something here that will redeem her, considering how much of a terrible person she was. So it's almost like all it does is help her become some kind of reality star, which I think is going to suck. It's like having that Vince Anna.
You have no idea what you're reading way too far into this. Like
that's my fucking job, buddy. That's my job to read into this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what kind of document, if it's about her, or if she's just part of it. It could just be about the federal prison system. It could be about how easy it was to bilk rich guys out of their money. It could be about tech inventors or female CEOs. I mean, it could be about a number of things.
The question becomes, though, she's a liar. She's a well-known, documented, multiple-time liar. Why would you believe anything that she has to tell you about anything? Do you know what I'm getting at? I mean, like, why? Would you go interview Weinstein about
that's
the
like saying the FBI agents in Mindhunter shouldn't have interviewed the serial killers because what's the point? They're just liars and manipulators.
No, but they also seek the spotlight, just like she does in a way. So yeah, man, you might make a roundabout point that makes sense, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
maybe take these people for their word, but so listen, I wish I could have spoken to Nathan Fielder's reps and gotten a better feel for what the story is, but you don't want to call back. That's your business.
Hey, got to put it out there. Anything else from a newsletter that you want to discuss? Let people know about so they can read up on it over the last few days that you've posted.
No.
Okay.
It's been a slow week. Monday, there was really no news, so it was like, well, am I really going to put out a newsletter tonight? Like, what's the headline? Let's just wait till Tuesday. And then Tuesday, I had like no energy to write. I just did not feel well. So Wednesday was a big boy, and then tonight is going to be a really fun one.
Well, how about this, Jeff? Dwayne Johnson today posted just a few minutes ago. Grateful for what's been the most creatively inspiring time of my career, working closely with my friends and, of course, the maestro, Marty Scorsese. Much more to come. So does that feel like this movie is happening now?
Have you heard of a buyer?
I have not heard of a buyer.
Me either. I think that's what that post was about.
Oh, really? Trying to get people to buy it?
It was a reminder. It was like, hey, this is still available, and don't forget, I'm in it.
This reminds me. This makes me think of the studio.
I don't know if Netflix is going to buy this.
Yeah,
or is it?
No, it's they're looking. They were looking for people. Yeah.
Did Netflix? But like, was there a story about it landing at Netflix? I forget.
No, it says here.
These guys are saying it fucking Netflix, but I
multiple
don't know.
Studios and streamers are bidding.
You guys just saying you believe it's Netflix, or you're saying it is Netflix?
Well, the guys watch us. If they knew stuff, we would watch them. So there's the difference, Jeff. He said at least a report a few weeks back, multiple studios and streamers are bidding for the project, with Netflix rumored to have the edge at present.
I don't know if they ultimately want to drop that kind of money.
Yeah. It's not Netflix, dudes. So who knows who it's going to be, but yeah, Netflix seems to have the edge, but that changes overnight, day to day, hour to hour. That might be. It reminds me of the studio, though. What you're saying, where the series that's going to be debuting on Apple TV, using a star to post certain things in order to get people to buy it. So
I just think that you can't spend $200 million on a crime drama. That's not how much crime dramas cost. I don't care if Leonardo DiCaprio's in them, or The Rock, or if Scorsese's directing, or they're set in Hawaii. That's not how much a crime drama costs.
I agree. And I like what SpongeBob had says. SpongeBob and Sonic fans says Netflix is still recovering from Electric State. Yeah, where do we go with that, Jeff? Let's talk about this. Electric State absolutely destroyed by the critics. Overall, even the fans of the original source material hate the movie. So here we go. Another Russos film. I think Marcus and McFeely wrote on this one as well. Marcus came out with that quote saying why he didn't want to go do the Marvel thing. He wants to focus on their production company. But Jeff, man, everything outside of Marvel for these Russo brothers and Marcus and McFeely to an extent has not really panned out. So now they're coming back to Marvel. At least one of the writers and both the directors are. Is this a bad omen with Electric State not doing well?
No, I think that these guys know how to make one thing very well, right? Comic book movies.
Marvel movies.
And yeah, it's like, what do you have to be upset about if they have made some of your favorite comic book movies? They made some shit, in between, and so this is going to be shit too. No, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I don't think one has to do with the other. The Electric State would have been doomed, at any price from any director. I think it's just like a weird idea for a movie. I have no interest in watching it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it had Millie Bobby Brown. Where are we at on the Millie Bobby Brown train, Jeff? She's got
to put herself on the big screen soon. She got to take a chance. She's been hiding behind the Netflix paywall. And, that's all well and good. They've been paying her. I understand why. But, at some point, you got to go do like a challenging indie like Daisy Ridley does.
Yeah.
Go Go to Owen's $100 question, though.
Oh, yeah, sure. Right off the bat. Owen Lanning. Thank you, Owen. It is weird not to have Batman or Wonder Woman coming out, but I do appreciate doing financially responsible movies like Clayface for $40 million. It makes the possibility for success easier if it's a nice change from the bloated budget, nice change of pace.
That's true.
If those movies are successful.
Right. That's the thing. You can't build a universe with hit $40 million movies, no matter how hit they are, really.
Right.
You need to take some big swings and hit some home runs. You can't just be bunting all the time.
Yeah. But the other part of it is if you make a $40 million movie and it doesn't do well, then, and you've just made a Superman that maybe underperformed, then you're striking out in both areas. And then your universe is really kind of on its deathbed. So and I hear you. You want to spend less. I agree. It's financially feasible and whatever, and all of that. But like, you've got to do good movies either way. So it doesn't mean because it's cost less that somehow the loss will be more sustainable overall. That's not how it works. You know,
I feel like if I give you $500 million for your first 4 movies, you're Gunn. You're like, all right, I'm going to use $275 on Superman, $125 on Supergirl, $60 on Sergeant Rock, and $40 on Clayface. Right? Like that is actually like that's how you build like a fantasy team, right? That's a good use of budget. Have a star player, have a second tier thing, Supergirl, and then 2 smaller properties that you think are gonna, hit.
Wait, how much you giving me? 500 million?
500 million.
Okay, I make $150 million Superman movie.
150 million?
$150 million Batman movie.
That's cheap. That's way too cheap.
And $150 million Wonder Woman movie, and I'll pocket the $50 million for expenses for myself and go to bank. I mean, this is the way you do it. And I'll put $50 million towards lanterns. This is I think the smarter route. We're going with these smaller movies after Superman. You're gonna kill the momentum. You're gonna kill the momentum.
Superman isn't enough. You can't get Christian McCaffrey. You can't get Superman for 150.
I'll shoot it in Japan with the Godzilla -1 people, and I guarantee you it'll be enough. It'll look great.
Ooh, okay.
You know I'm not wrong. I don't think people care. I think people care how much you spend on a movie because they want it as a talking point. Do you know what I'm saying? But if people wanted to spend $150 million on a movie and went to Japan to shoot a Superman movie and Tokyo was in place of Metropolis, I don't think people would care if they couldn't tell the difference. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where money is just a talking point. It's just a talk. Can it indicate?
I don't think that audiences care how much something costs. You need a good story. And I think,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. 150 is more than enough, for God's sakes. Come on. I could shoot a $50 million one right now. I tell you, it'll be damn good. Rocha's going to get his movie. Not if they're in Japan. They can't protest me in Japan. All right, Jeff, let's move on some reviews here. Oh, no, you want to talk about Adolescence on Netflix. What is that? Is that a new show, a new series? What is that?
Yeah, that's out today. I'm going to try to have a review tonight in tonight's newsletter. I think that's going to be the B story.
Okay.
It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic.
Okay.
Stephen Graham's 4-part show. It's done. Each episode's done like as a one-shot.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And it's about like a 13-year-old boy who's accused of murder.
Whoa.
And it's fantastic.
Okay.
Highly recommended. It's going to be this season's Baby Reindeer. Baby Reindeer!
Baby Reindeer.
Baby Reindeer!
Wait, is Stephen Graham, you mean he's starring in it? He's not the creator.
He plays the father.
Got it. Okay. I like him because he's in 1,000 Blows out right now from the guy who did
and the woman from that is in this as well. Erin Doherty, is it?
Oh, yeah. She was Princess Anne in The Crown. She's a good actress. I like her. She got stones. I like her as an actress. What about The Studio? Did you get a chance to see any of these episodes?
I finished The Studio, yeah.
Yeah. I saw 5 episodes.
Have you watched it?
I'm 5 episodes in. We're 5 episodes in. Lady Outlaw's been gone for 4 days, so she made me wait.
Lady Outlaw. She knows what television to watch. How dare she have a life outside of your television habits?
I wanted to finish it, but I got to keep a happy home, so I have to wait for her to come back to finish it.
I think that the first half is funnier than the second half of the show. I think that the second half tails off the writing a little bit significantly.
Okay.
But I think it's frighteningly accurate.
Yes.
Like, as crazy and like fucking nuts as it is, that's what this town is like. This town is fucking nuts. It is accurate. But do I think that this show is gonna like resonate with the average person? Not really, actually. I have my reservations about that because to me, this is Entourage without boobs.
Oh, this is better than Entourage. Oh, so much. I know you're still a fan of that show. Oof. That show does not hold on.
There's no question it's better.
Yeah.
That it's like, you know, smarter or whatever, but it doesn't have quite the same heart. I don't think you love these characters like you love the characters on Entourage.
You don't get
Entourage is a more commercial version of this, and that's what I'm getting at. I'm like, if this is the less commercial version of Entourage, I think this show's kind of fucked.
Okay, fair point.
It's like it's just super insidey, like insidery. I just don't know who's gonna care about like CinemaCon unless you've been to CinemaCon.
Right. Well, I think the thing that helps it is Seth Rogen. Everybody loves Seth Rogen. And then the other part of it is everybody's worked with crazy ass bosses and middle managers and people who are, you know, thinking they're a little bit more talented than they actually are. And so there are elements of it that can be universal, but I hear you. It could possibly people going like, I don't give a shit about the inside of a film studio. What do I care about? So that's very possible.
Hard to get wrapped up about, like fake movies starring, you know, like all the cameos are fun and stuff. And again, it is funny, especially the first half of the show.
God, the Ron Howard one is incredible. Oh my God.
But yeah, it's like how many people are really gonna know like Sarah Polley and like it's her sitting there, and, you know, just like the stuff that you and I appreciate.
Totally.
I don't think that the average person is gonna really give a shit about. We'll see.
Yeah. That's a fair point. What about Celtic City? How many episodes? I'm four episodes.
Finish everything. I've watched so much television. It's insane if I were to tell you the amount of television. Finish Celtic City. It's fantastic.
So good. Great recommendation, brother. Great recommendation. I was like, oh, I don't want to see something about the recent. And you said it's the history. That was awesome. Like the Bill Russell stuff was great. Bob Cousy still being alive is amazing. And talking about it is really poignant, man.
You can probably do a show, obviously, with the Lakers. That's this, but there's really no other team. It is staggering how much history that the Celtics have. Obviously, going back to Bill Russell and the civil rights stuff, but whether it's Reggie Lewis or Len Bias or you're I think in that 80s to 90s range, it's crazy.
Yeah, and this is what I grew up with, right? Like I came into basketball in the 80s, right as the Lakers and Celtics rivalry was heating up. I had no idea the stuff from the past. So watching this stuff, and that Bill Russell documentary is a great primer for this series as well. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. What else have you watched? So that's on Max for those who are not watching. The first episode I think this episode is dropping soon. But what else are you watching? Anything else?
I mean, I'm still ahead on White Lotus a couple weeks. I've seen all of Gemstones. I have TV coming out of my eyeballs.
Yes, Gemstones. Yes, no. Can you say yes, no, yes, no?
To me, it wasn't quite as good as the last season.
Okay.
I still have to watch the finale. I'm sorry, I do have one left. But
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It was probably the right time to wind that show down.
Yeah. Wait, one last thing. You had here a tiny piece of casting on lanterns. Well, what do you can you add that, or were you able to get that or no? You wrote that in the text. No, you can't say. All right, moving on, everybody. Moving on. You wrote that in the text.
John, what are you doing right now?
You wrote that in the text. You said
there's a private chat. What do you think? What DC thing do you think I didn't want to talk about?
No, I don't know. I don't know what you don't want to talk about. Sorry,
you tip my hand.
No one's gonna know. No one's gonna know.
No one's gonna know.
Jeff Sneider turning into Roxy Stryer with his team.
You're gonna get some assholes gonna say Jeff Sneider is gonna have a piece of lanterns casting, and someone's gonna drop it before I'm done.
All right, you want to just get through the questions now, then, and then you do it on your newsletter. You've got. What do I tell you all the time? You've got to tell me the things that I can't mention on the show. You didn't say that in our private conversation. You put that in the list of things you wanted to talk about.
Never mind. Go on.
All right. I'm sorry. I was trying to get it out. Okay. All right. Anything more to talk about? Should we get to these questions?
Get the questions.
All right. Next lot says, is there a second wave of the reconnaissance coming? He's been gone for years after great reviews. Who will distribute this new film coming out of South by Southwest? Yeah, Jeff, I can't remember the name of it. It's such a weird name, but it got a lot of good reviews, good reaction, right?
The Rivals of Amziah King.
Yeah.
I think it was on my most anticipated list, I believe, this year, as it has been for a couple of years now. I wasn't very impressed by the director's first film, but I like McConaughey working in this genre. I like his taste in material. And I think that you're right. I think he could very well get a nomination. I'm predicting him for a Best Actor nomination for The Lost Bus, the Paul Greengrass movie. So.
Oh, nice. Okay. Max Law says, Naomi Scott has 2 films stuck on a shelf somewhere, Distant and Wizards by David Michaud, both filmed 3 years ago. Will they ever be released?
Good question.
You have to smile.
Someone else in the chat had asked whether Wizards or the Christy Martin movie will be released first, and I have to say probably the Christy Martin movie, which is wild. I have no idea what the fuck is going on with Wizards. Distant has been released overseas, I think.
Oh, okay.
Different territories and stuff. Like it might be available on like Amazon, like in Canada or something.
Okay.
Yeah, US release. Something is up with that, Max. I had reached out a while ago to those filmmakers. They kind of didn't really know where it stood either. You're right. Okay. It may just be buried. I have no idea.
Sounds good. Hey, James DeMichelle. Hey, John and Jeff. In your opinion, if Warner Brothers is sold to Universal, for example, would they reboot the DCU? Or still stick with Gunn regardless if Superman made $1 billion or not? Any Batman news? Oof. I don't think you stay with Universal. I mean, I think you stay with Gunn.
I have no idea. Universal might want to just bring in its own person. Unless it was a huge hit, and then they'd probably stick with what works.
Yeah, they'd probably ride Gunn until it doesn't work, right?
Yeah. No Batman news.
No. Everything's still up in the air. Wacky Wally, only sharing because I love the 2 of you and what you do. Oh, thank you, Wack. Appreciate
it. Thanks, Wacky.
Robert Giacinta, on my way to see Black Bag, so can't watch live. I know I had to skip the 420 screening to be on this. Mickey 17 took years off my life, wanted my money back, even though I saw it for free. What? It was not. I don't understand people hating the film as hard as they are. Jeff, years off my life, Jeff.
2 hours and 17 minutes.
I will say, after I shot my reaction, I had a San Diego critic, I can't remember the guy's name, walked up to me and he's like, "You like that movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, I enjoyed it." He's like, "Oh man, I was dying." I go, "This is a divisive movie."
I think the average person is going to be left dying. Yeah, it was not for me.
34 Virgo says, change the shirt to represent.
Black Bag is good. Sorry, change the shirt to bear to represent the stock market. Bro, I did the stock market once. You know what company I bought stock in?
What?
Movie Pass.
Hey, good documentary though. Wacky Wally 8 says, back in the 1980s, there was a soft offer for Marvel to possibly purchase DC Comics. Can the same offer be made for Disney to purchase DC should the next Gunn universe falters? You don't want both Marvel and DC under the same fucking studio. No way, man. That's like LeBron going to play with KD. That makes no sense.
Yeah, I think that is what everybody wants, but
oh no, I hate that. Alan Smithy says, hey, John and Jeff, did you guys watch the new Righteous Gemstones? I thought it was great. Really dark humor, war scenes, and a great take on people using religion for self-preservation. Still righteous.
Yes, I obviously saw it. The first episode has a big name guest star who I won't spoil for those who haven't seen the episode yet. His name has come up in this episode at one point.
Ooh.
But it was, totally different. Obviously, people are like, holy shit, the Gemstones are back tonight. And then you don't see Danny McBride or any of the Gemstones.
Oh, really?
It's the entire episode is set like in the 1800s.
Interesting. Yeah, I got to watch this show one day. Wacky Wally says, pardon spelling and never mind. Thanks. Okay, thank you, Wally. Wally, you got the job done. Clip Champ Razor says, Adrian Brody will play Jor-El and he will do a Kryptonian rap. You heard it here first. Adrian Brody be an interesting choice. I am Savvy Mike 96 TV says Jean Grey being in the next Spider-Man movie makes no sense. So I agree with Jeff. She's either playing MJ or Gwen Stacy. There you go.
Yep. MJ, I think.
MJ. Simon Section, congratulations to Roxy Stryer. She's been cast in the film Lioness, starring Kate Beckinsale and Louis Tan.
Who is Roxy Stryer? Never heard of her. No, we are thrilled for our Roxy. So proud of her.
Yeah.
She's in London. She's in bloody London right now, being put up in some posh hotel, eating fish and chips, waiting to be called onto the set with Kate Beckinsale. I think that's so cool.
That's awesome, man. Her and Tiffany Smith, man, making their bones on the acting side of things.
And you know who else is making their bones?
Who's that?
Fucking Andrew Guy.
Oh, yes. He was in
Matlock, right?
He was in the Matlock episode. Yes. Looked really comfortable.
One of these Matlock people.
Yeah. He's really comfortable. Looked really on top of it.
You can come in there and sweep Kathy Bates off her feet.
Hey now. You haven't seen the show? She's already married on the show. You haven't seen the show. Fantastic. 314 says, I want to see Peter and Mary Jane watch the movie at his place. When his doorbell rings, he answers it, and it's Michelle Jones saying, I found you. Oh, my Lord. No. There's not going to be a triangle, Jeff. I think that's not what people want to see. Do you think people want to see a triangle? Oh, all right.
Spider-Man triangle.
Oh, that's right. I don't want to see that. Mike Joyce, support for Roke and Jeff. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Max Laws of Breaking. Robert Pattinson said start a remake of Altered States. We already talked about that. Thank you, Max. Appreciate it. Jeff said it wasn't breaking. It's been 3 years, Jeff.
3 years old. We'll see if that actually happens.
Michael Gustafson. Any Rings of Power season 3 news or casting? Last I heard, they brought in writers from The Crown, hyped for this, and House of the Dragon season 3. Jeff doesn't cover too much TV, but Jeff, have you heard anything?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, Michael. I'll keep an ear out.
Wheel of Time season 3 is about to come out. I know that.
I mean, with these Rings of Power thing, obviously, you know, it's half these actors are like some obscure, like Irish or Scottish actor or something, you know.
Yeah.
The names have been cast.
Nerdy Mastermind. WB has the IP, so why struggle? Where's a new live-action Scooby-Doo, Freddy and Jason, or It film? What's happening with Potter? They need to get it together. Mickey 17 ain't it. Well, Potter is on the way, and the rumors are very strongly that, although they haven't announced it, that Papa Isidore will be Snape and Janet McTeer will be Minerva McGonagall, and obviously Lithgow. But I don't know about Scooby-Doo and Freddy and Jason or It, Jeff. Do you know anything about that?
I like what Nerds Engage says here. Let's combine them. Let's do Scooby-Doo Adventure at Crystal Lake. Jason Voorhees, where are you? Yeah, I mean, it has the HBO show Welcome to Derry coming out. Scooby-Doo, I think, you know, that could happen. I think it would be fun to incorporate Scooby-Doo into the DC universe. Like if James Gunn could somehow make that happen. And Freddy, I mean, dude, I don't know what the deal is with Freddy. That's one of the $1 million questions out there. I've heard that Craven's widow may have finally given it up.
Relented? Oh, yeah.
Just like the Barbara Broccoli, like pay me to fuck off and go away, and you can do whatever you want with it. I think it's listen. At some point, you get to an age where it's like, all right, I'll take the money. What good are these rights for?
Yeah,
they're just sitting here. I can't do anything with them.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. Did you read? Did we talk about that last week? I don't think we talked about it last week. What did you think of that article that THR wrote about stuff that was going on behind the scenes? Anything stick out of you for the Bond stuff, the Amazon stuff, where they paid her $1 million to go away? Broccoli and Wilson. No,
$1 billion. You mean
$1 million? Yeah, $1 billion. Sorry, yeah.
It was close to $1 billion. I don't think it was $1 billion.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I really have anything to add.
Okay. Connor Przalomski says, "What's up, Jeff and John? Hopefully we get Batman 2 news soon. Don't count on it. Do you know why Clayface is being produced by Matt Reeves' production company? Interesting.
I'm tired of speculating on the DC universe. I don't do that anymore. James Gunn taught me my lesson.
He did. Ewok says, looking forward to the boys from Brazil. Apparently Jeremy Strong is playing the Laurence Olivier role. Yes. Who should take on the Gregory Peck role? It's a good answer. Who should play Joseph Mengele, Jeff? Who should play Joseph Mengele, who go toe-to-toe with Jeremy Strong? And in a physical fight, if they really do what happens in the movie.
No clue. Burn Gorman.
You got to get someone in Gregory Peck's level. Aaron, the creator, says, you two are great at what you do and never Also, over under 40% Miles Morales shows up in Spidey 4. So far as Uncle and Dad have been referred to. No. I don't think so. I would say under. You say over? Okay.
Over.
Over that he appears. Miles Morales. Oh, okay. Poison Plants 15 says, any guys who Kreger should cast in the Resident Evil reboot?
Any ideas who should? Yeah, Mikey Madison.
Not a bad choice. She should start lining things up like Glen Powell. I could see her doing that.
I just want to see Mikey Madison like fucking killing demons, being like, "Fuck you and your mother, motherfucker."
Where's my money? Poisonous Plants 15 says the It films, John Wick 4, Barbarian, Nosferatu are all box office hits as Bill Skarsgård supplemented himself as part of the big young actors group. No, nobody thinks of Skarsgård in that group. Right? He's his own thing.
Yeah, I think people think of him like, first of all, for like a very specific kind of role. Honestly, we're under embargo, but he is pretty good in Locked.
Oh, nice.
Did you see Locked yet?
No, I have not.
I liked it.
What service is that on?
It comes out in theaters next week. I think.
There wasn't a screening here. Yeah.
Well, thumbs up. But I think that people think of him for a specific type of role first, and he does have like a genre following. But yeah, I don't think that he is quite on the level of like an Austin Butler or Timmy.
Skarsgård is the more castable Doug Jones. That's what he is. Bill Skarsgård is the more castable Doug Jones. Doug Jones is great. I love him. I think a lot of people love him. But Skarsgård takes like what Doug Jones essentially, the roles that Doug Jones essentially plays, and he takes them next level in different projects. That's what I would say. Clip Champ Razor says, any news related to Dungeons and Dragons or Sean Levy's Forgotten Realms show?
I've already forgotten about Forgotten Realms. I don't know what you're talking about there. Dungeons and Dragons. No, that has to be the number one franchise I have tried not to pay attention to.
Oh, wow. Nerds engaged as support. Thank you, Nerds. And also with the Celtic City there, basketball. Nice. Good job against the Thunder the other night. Good job there, buddy. Good job. Ewok says, did you see Baldoni's original poster for It Ends With Us before Blake changed it? It has the vibe of an Ingmar Bergman drama, while Blake's version looks like a generic rom-com, very different tone. Did she change the poster too? Oof, I don't know that. I don't want to go off on that.
She did. The movie made hundreds of millions of dollars. What do you think sells? Ingmar Bergman dramas or generic rom-coms?
Yeah, fair point. Generic rom-coms, they do sell.
I'll take Blake's back on that one.
Yeah, they made money. Kai says, saw Hamnet at a test screening. Paul Mescal supporting actor, nom incoming. Unsure how critics will review it. Buckley is amazing. Mickey 17 was trash. Yeah, the Hamnet early screenings or early test numbers have been good, Jeff. Have you heard anything?
I've heard not good things about Hamnet, actually. Like, after I published my Oscar nomination stuff, I heard it was pretty flat.
Wow.
That the whole thing is shot in like extreme close-ups. I didn't realize that Paul was maybe going to be supporting, but that makes sense if Buckley is more positioned as lead. She's a fantastic actress. Not surprised to hear she's amazing, though.
I love
I do think between that and The Bride, which I've heard that she's also good in. I've heard like her and Bale are good in The Bride, but that the other half of the movie does not really work.
Yeah. It's like Branagh. It's like Branagh's Frankenstein. De Niro is good. Everything else sucks.
Yeah.
C. Black, any new Marvel news? We already dropped it, I think. Anything new you got, Jeff, on your horizon?
No.
All right. Ario Phoenix says, Jeff, any news on Ariana Grande's next project?
Nope.
Nothing? All right. Plethoric. How are you feeling about Thunderbolt's box office chances? If it flops, how important does Fantastic Four become? Oh, I think it's still important, regardless of how Thunderbolts does. Jeff?
Fantastic Four, is definitely very important. I think Thunderbolts could surprise. I'll tell you this, it looks different.
Yes.
It looks a little different. I know they're selling it with the whole A24 thing, which I think is kind of silly. But I do think that there's a certain curiosity that maybe wasn't there for Captain America. And I think it could have legs into the summer. So that could go either way. We'll see. We'll see what those first reviews. I mean, we'll see what those first reviews are going to be like. The first reviews are going to be ecstatic. Who are we kidding? They're going to say the movie's the greatest Marvel movie ever, and blah 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 blah. But yeah, we'll see.
We will see. Stephanie says, Wheel of Time, first 3 episodes dropped today. Oh, today, yes. Episode 1 was awesome. Rosamund Pike and other badass ladies wielding magic and epic bloody battles. Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, I got the whole season on my
You watched the show?
Screeners. No, I want to catch up. I want to watch it because I like Rosamund. I like her. She's good. I like her as an actress.
I like her too, but not enough to watch 2 or 3 seasons of a fantasy show.
Yeah, you're not a fantasy person no matter who's in it. Mikey Madison could be in it.
I got fantasies of Rosamund Pike.
Okay. All right. All right. Fredtastic also says, supporting my dudes on the hot mic. What is the bottom number for Superman to hit? Will it be a failure if it only reaches 650 million? Yes. Also, is Netflix doing a theater release for The Old Guard 2? Oh, I don't think so. Jeff, what do you think? What's the bottom number where, like, between success and a flop? What is the number?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to get a theatrical release.
Oh, you don't think Old Guard 2? What about Superman? 650?
Superman?
Yeah.
650?
You think, will it be a failure if it hits 650? Is it a failure? Considered a failure if it only gets 650?
Let me think about that.
All right.
Probably.
I would say yes. It's 800 or more is success.
That sounds
800 or below failure.
Yeah. It needs at least 7.
Yes.
650 would be a disappointment.
Yeah. What movies? What's up, Matt? He said, just want to say love you all and the show. Rocha, you know how I feel heading into the Superman film. Can confirm one of Snyder's potential cameos, but let's not forget Soups now stands for a better tomorrow, not the American way, thankfully. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Mike McKenzie says, hey guys, with the trade war brewing between Canada and the United States, how is it going to affect the movie studios? Are they not going to film in Vancouver anymore? Bigger budgets from the tariffs and taxes? That's actually a valid question, Jeff. What do you think about this? Do you think it will affect shooting in Canada, or do you think it won't have an effect just yet?
I feel like so many productions are heading to London.
Yeah.
Right? It feels like Marvel is all but moved to London from Atlanta. I know, like, Glen Powell's practically moved to London with, like, you know, all the movies that he's doing over there. Running Man. I bet you JJ's movie shoots in London. So to me, that's sort of like the new hot spot.
Yes.
Yes. Look at fucking Roxy's in London shooting an indie. Right? So they're doing something right over there. Yeah, I don't know the deal with Canada, though.
We've been talking about moving to London, but you have to have a really strong job and then get that approval. Bless you. Not an easy thing to do. We would move to London tomorrow if we could. Gubentot says, I noticed you guys never addressed Ali Abbasi's sexual allegations. Pretty ironic considering he portrayed the GOAT. Donald J. Trump can only laugh. I don't know anything about this. Jeff, do you know about that? The director of
only laugh? Someone was groped. Someone was sexually assaulted. You can only laugh.
Yeah, it's probably not
the best response. I mean, I see the irony.
Sure.
I think that, I don't know if the incident was overblown or not. UTA obviously had no problem signing him after CA will say it dropped him. He'll say that he dropped CAA, and maybe he did drop CAA. Maybe that's why CA put out the story. But because it didn't come out for like a few weeks after the incident. And I mean, it's a shame. The Apprentice was the best movie last year. I think this guy had a very bright career ahead of him, and I think this will probably hurt that career.
Okay. All right. Fair point. I don't know anything about it, so I can't speak on it. Samuel says, thoughts on Cosmo Jarvis joining Nolan's new movie, The Odyssey. It's funny that he went from discount Tom Hardy to replacing Tom Hardy. Wow. I don't think it's discount Tom Hardy.
I love how people draw that. Well, Tom Hardy hasn't been announced for The Odyssey, so this guy must be the new Tom Hardy. It's a little cheap and reductive. He's a good actor. I always thought he was really good in Lady Macbeth. That was the movie where him and Florence Pugh broke out.
Yes.
I've seen him in like 1 or 2 crime movies. To me, you know who he reminds me of is a young De Niro.
A young De Niro. Oh, interesting.
It reminds me of like a Deer Hunter era De Niro.
Yeah.
Like if you were remaking Deer Hunter today, like that is who I might cast as Cosmo. He may very well have been the standout of Warfare last night. I saw Warfare, Johnny.
You did? Son of a bitch. No, there's
if you were in Los Angeles, I would have invited you. You could have come with me. It was at the military place, too. It was like all veterans.
Oh, my God. I'm so mad. I want to see that movie so fucking bad, man. And they're not doing screenings down here. No screenings for Warfare. So far.
It was good. I can't review it or anything, but I did a social media reaction or whatever, and it's positive. I mean, it's very intense.
Damn.
But it's like United 93.
Is it better than Civil War?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck.
And it's like, well, what's going to happen to this guy now, right? Like, Scott Waugh went from that Act of Valor movie to Need for Speed, right?
Yeah.
I wonder, is Ray Mendoza going to become some Marvel or DC director?
Ooh, I could see that.
That is now interesting.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I think that Alex probably handled more of the technical stuff as far as the filmmaking, and I think that Ray Mendoza was more about like working with the actors, and making sure everything was realistic and authentic, and like everything looked right. But very very curious where that guy's career goes.
I think more DC because of the grittiness and the style. I don't think it necessarily fits Marvel. DC would be the way to go if he was to do something next.
Yeah, this is I definitely think he's going to get some people's attention with this movie. And Cosmo Jarvis. What would you say about Cosmo Jarvis if they announced him tomorrow as the new Wolverine?
Ooh. I don't think I'd have a problem. I think I'd actually be curious to see what he would do with it. But it would also, but it would also indicate that they want someone who radiates that kind of quiet, maniacal energy, right? So
I like when you think of prestige shows right now.
Yeah.
Particularly, I mean, forget, just all of television. Just think of Disney. FX's most prestigious show is Shogun.
Yes, 100%.
He's the star of that show. I wonder if Disney wants to keep him in the family, much like they want to keep Jeremy Allen White around.
Yeah, that's a great point. But I mean, like, to be fair, though, Anna Sawai and Hiroki Sanada is who you think about when you think about that show, not Cosmo necessarily first. But that being said, he acquitted himself really well. And people forget, like, the first couple episodes of Shogun, he was a maniac. He was fantastic. It's when he gets to the village there with Hiroki Sanada and Anna Sawai's characters that he starts to kind of shave the edges off. But he can clearly play a strong, opinionated, no bullshit character. And so I think for him, for Wolverine would be exciting. Really exciting, honestly. Let's see. Anthony V says, one good thing about Greta's Narnia is that she chose to film a book that has never been made into a movie before. That's true. I can see Magician's Nephew attracting both fans of the early 2000s movies and a new generation of kids. Well, yeah, because they said they're going to do all 8 of these, whether Greta's involved or not. And so going with the prequel to the entire series, which is the book that C.S. Lewis has said you need to start with if you're going to read his series. He said that after he'd finished the whole series, then yeah, it's a smart move. You're laying the groundwork for the entire foundation to come, So I think it's smart. Do you have anything to say on that?
No.
Okay.
You said it all, Daddy.
Anthony V says, I'm a Marvel fan, so I'm looking forward to Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. But let's say both movies can't clear $500 million each. Do you think that's a sign that Marvel is just not going back to pre-Endgame popularity? Does Disney panic? It's a great question, Jeff. I don't see it happening, but I mean, Thunderbolts maybe not breaking 500, but Fantastic Four, if that doesn't break 500, I think Marvel's in some real trouble. What are your thoughts?
I think it all comes down to story. It's about storytelling.
Mm.
And at some point, this story has to end. I'm sick of phases. I'm sick of sagas. Just operate like a normal studio and make a good movie and make it. It doesn't have to connect to 37 different movies before it.
Even Daredevil Born Again is doing that.
And it doesn't have to connect to 37 different movies after it. Just stop this universe nonsense and go back to the way things were before the MCU.
All right, there you go. Jeff Snyder's thoughts. Howard Hamlin, since Spider-Man 4 seems to be a multiverse movie, could Sadie Sink be playing Spider-Girl, the daughter of Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst's Peter/Mary Jane? She looks like she could be their kid. Thanks.
She looks like we got to get off this whole looks thing, okay? Like, you know, and I'm sure I'm guilty of it at times too, but like, sure. You know, look at the Beatles. Look at who they're casting as the Beatles. The whole point of this is they're actors. They don't have to necessarily look like them because they're going to have wigs and makeup and prosthetics and a zillion other things that make them look more like so-and-so. So I just don't care how someone looks as opposed to how the comic book character is drawn.
Yeah. Good point. Vinny Chase says, "Don't knock my show ever again, Outlaw." Oh, sorry, Vinny.
The real Vinny Chase would have had one of his entourage members say that. Yeah,
that's true. It's a good point.
He said it on his own, so you don't really know Vinny Chase now, do you? I was on the show. I know him.
Victory. Fredtastic 314 says, "I thought the bull on Jeff's shirt was from the City Slickers intro. Top Gun Maverick only hit 1.5 billion because they put the Outlaws review on it." That's true. I did get quoted in the TV ad.
Wait,
that's my story.
For which movie?
For Top Gun Maverick. I got quoted on it. Yeah. Which was a very proud moment for me. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you, Fred. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you.
Do you have an official military title? Are you like Lieutenant Commander Rocha or something?
Lieutenant Dan. I'm Lieutenant Dan is my official. You know what? Don't try to be nice now. Don't try. Hey, don't even. You know what? You don't respect my service, and you never have.
I thank you for your service multiple times.
No, I was a specialist. I never got to be sergeant or anything. I really didn't want to move up.
Rocha, I like that.
Yeah, specialist. I never moved up to sergeant because I was not looking to make the military my career, so I didn't want to have the responsibility. Officer stuff was offered to me all the time, but I didn't want the responsibility of people dying in a war on my watch. I didn't want to carry that. So that's why I just stayed a specialist, and I was happy to be a specialist. Other people got promoted. I was like, congratulations. I'm chilling out here.
Well, I respect your service. My only specialty was jerking off. So
okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know. Thank you, Jeff, for that. 34 Virgo says, Josh Horowitz thinks Denzel as Magneto is fluff or not real. When speaking of Fassbender, to that, Jeff, you say what? All fluff, or is it show enough?
That's it, Josh Horowitz. I want a piece of you anytime, anywhere. This is a challenge. Josh Horowitz can think whatever he'd like. I have no idea whether Denzel is going to be playing Magneto or not. These are just, listen, it's like in Heat. There's just bits of information floating out there in the air, and you just got to know how to reach out and grab it sometimes.
Oh, speaking of which, that's another part of the Warner Brothers story, Jeff. It was reported today that the Warner Brothers getting a little cold feet around the Heat too. Like apparently a script has been submitted, but they're not in the rush to greenlight it or fund it just yet. What do you think we'll ever see that?
No, I don't think, and nor do I think we should.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, I read that Heat 2 book. It was fine.
Yeah.
But it wasn't great, and it wasn't something I would compromise the legacy of that movie to make.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. Kai says, yeah, the first half of Hamnet was boring. You don't feel invested in love between Mescal and Buckley. The last 20 minutes are phenomenal, though. Okay. There you go. A little free review.
Let's just review this movie a year out.
Ewok says, leapfrogging next year's Oscars to the year after. I'm predicting Matt Damon wins Best Actor for The Odyssey and Emily Blunt wins Best Actress for Disclosure. You see those pictures? They do anything for you? The new pictures, Jeff, for The Odyssey? They do anything for you?
You don't want to know what they did for me.
Hello. Max Loth says, Trey Edwards Schultz. Yeah, we already talked about that. Thank you, Max. Appreciate that. And Wayne Edwards, good evening, gents. Well, good, Wayne. Good to see you. What is the next big sci-fi coming? I know about Hail Mary. I read the book. It's great. Jeff, what's the next big sci-fi film? Didn't we just have it with Mickey 17?
God, I hope not. That is actually a pretty good question. And he's saying it's not Project Hail, right, outside of Project Hail Mary. I mean, it probably is Spielberg's movie. It probably is Disclosure.
Disclosure, huh? Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking through the releases. I don't see anything necessarily that's sci-fi. So yeah, we'll see. All right. I think that's all the Streamlabs and Super Chats, bud. I think that's everything. Anything more? We're ending a little early. Anything more you want to say before we wrap up? Oh, wait. F1. After the F1, the world will want Damson Idris as Bond. Maybe. He's got a lot of swagger in that trailer, Jeff. Loved it.
Someone asked, okay, have I heard anything about Ariana Grande's new movie? I have not.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I am writing. Tonight's lead story involves 2 actresses. And if one of those actresses were to fall out of this movie, Ariana Grande should make a play for it.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. So, that just gives you a little hint at what might be in store tonight.
Nice. Wait. Okay. So Doug Developer says I missed his Streamlab lab, but I don't know if I see it, Doug.
LeBron and Stephen A. Yo.
Oh yeah. Did you see that back and forth? What do you think about that?
I only caught like half of it. I feel like get rid of this John Campia. This is not the real John Campia. don't do this. Don't come into our chat and impersonate people we know.
All right,
friends of ours.
Yeah.
Come on, I know this is not John.
All right. Yeah, Doug, I don't see it. I don't know if it went through, brother, man. But since you donate to the show so much,
why don't you just put it in the chat and we'll read it? Let's go.
We'll just okay. Put it in the chat. We'll read it, brother.
Okay, what was your favorite movie you saw during time?
Jeff sent me when you're. Oh my God, my favorite movie when I saw it during my time in the service. I saw Misery during AIT. I remember Misery fucking me up big time. Seagal's Mark for Death. That was a pretty awesome experience with a bunch of military dudes who just got out of basic training. I don't know.
So what is this? Early 90s, you're saying?
Yeah, I was in from 90 to 98.
Well, then I'll say Jennifer 8.
Oh, yeah. Uma Thurman.
John! Not you, John!
Oh.
Not you, John!
Andy Garcia, Uma Thurman. Uma. Uma was the best back then. Doug says, what are your thoughts on LeBron angrily confronting Stephen A? Who do you think has been more wrong? This is an interesting situation. Jeff, did you see the confrontation? Have you read anything about it? Have you seen? Okay, so
I missed the confrontation. So where did it happen? What happened?
It was on the basketball court. Stephen A was there to watch a Lakers game, I think, or in New York for the Knicks.
Did he pay for the ticket or was he media?
I was there as a spectator. And wearing a suit or whatever, because he probably did a spot or whatever, but he was there to watch the game. LeBron came up to him face to face, confronted him because of the criticisms that Stephen A has been lobbing towards his son, Bronny, who, to be fair, has played like dog shit all year. And so apparently LeBron, and you see the video, if you watch the video, LeBron is straight up in his face. You see it from multiple angles because obviously everybody's got a phone. And he is straight up to, and Stephen is just like listening and not. And so Stephen, of course, because he's not going to miss an opportunity to make a big deal out of something. The next day on the show on ESPN, he's like, LeBron came and talked to me. He confronted me. We had a conversation. Talked to me like a man about his son. He made a whole deal. 2 days later, he's like, LeBron and this, and I'm going to kick his ass. It was so ridiculous. Okay. On so many, I think they're both wrong. What do you think, Jeff? As a dad, you got to protect your son, but he's a professional ball player. You're doing him no favors going at media personalities about your son when he's trying to be his own man. It makes no sense.
Yeah, LeBron probably got to let Bronny fight his own battles there. Probably overstepped. Stephen A just doing his job.
Yeah.
But Stephen A's an annoying can be an annoying little bitch like myself.
I don't get
what it takes. That's what it takes to be.
Yeah. I should have never gone to therapy. I'd have $100 million subscribers by now if I'd never gone to therapy. That's
the thing. It's like if we're the Stephen A of movies, how come we can't get a fraction of what this guy gets to talk about sports? Can movies not be as big as sports? What the fuck?
That's a fair point. Well, it's a different situation. Movies here are more, well, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question, though. It's a good question. Justin Duck says, I missed his Streamlab. They're not here, people. I don't know what you're sending in. I'm looking right at the Streamlabs.
I'm a zillion there talking about sports or politics, but not about movies. Because movies are, an opinion.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. All right. Well, I think that's everything. Let's wrap it up there. Thank you, everybody.
Wrap it up, baby.
Appreciate all the Streamlabs super chats. 50 million people watching Reacher. Wow. Damn it. I should have done a review of that season. Thank you so much for the Streamlabs and the super chats. Appreciate you all madly. Jeff, where can they find you and subscribe to your newsletter, brother?
theinsnider.com. That's it.
That's it. That's all you want to say. All right.
I'm sorry, an email came in.
Okay.
Go on.
I know you got to jump on your newsletter. So
I'm just reading the email to see if there's anything I can mention before the show ends. Go on.
Okay.
Go slowly.
Thanks for watching the show. You can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Please remember to subscribe down below. I said just crossed 37,000, marching towards 40, marching towards 50. Help me get there by subscribing and hitting that bell button. So you see when we're dropping all the content we do. And that's, I think, everything. Adam says, will you see Black Bag, Rocha? Yes, I will go tomorrow or Saturday and have a review for you then. I was supposed to go to screening last night, but it was raining, and I didn't feel like driving 30 minutes in the rain, so I didn't go. So I'll go tomorrow. Graham says, any politics live streaming incoming? I'll tell you this, guys. I was not going to do a show, but as the country is absolutely fracturing into a million pieces, it might be time to do a show. So look for something if I do start a new YouTube channel. I've got all the logo and the video. I didn't want to jump into it, but the fact that people are fighting back finally, now I maybe might start doing one. So
it was
anyway.
John. It was an email poking holes in the Lauren Schuler Donner theory, saying that Beast appeared in the Marvels.
Oh,
Stewart, what's his name? Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart.
Right, was in Doctor Strange 2.
Right,
but she didn't have a credit on those movies. They were cameos, but
yeah,
those are X-Men characters. So
yes, but I would push back and say you knew what was going to happen with the Patrick Stewart one. It wasn't actually in the main Earth Prime, and the same thing with Beast. It's not main Earth Prime. So
yeah, you've already hurt my head. main Earth Prime. I don't.
616 is the main Earth Prime in Marvel. It's main Earth 616. All right. Anyway.
Okay. Now we can wrap up. Yeah, I've had enough. Let's get me out of here.
Now. We're going too far. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you. Love you all madly. Have a great rest of your weekend. Go see a movie and come hang out with us next week on the Hot Mic. Peace.
Black Bag.
Until go see Black Bag. Definitely. A lot of people saying it's great. Talk to you then. Take care, guys.